welcome to today's live stream. I just realized I'm slightly out of tune, but you probably didn't notice that. Only I noticed that. So we're gonna go live anyway. Let's dive right into this bad boy. All right. What's important on today's chart? You know, we just have a compression range here on the 1 hour chart. And to be honest, current price action and compression range really does remind me of this here, where we just have a tight compression range after a completed mean reversion condition with very little volatility overhead, high potential energy, and no implied direction. What that means is it's going to be very hard to take a good position right now because we're either going to spike significantly up or significantly down, and we do not have a way of reading the direction, but only the potential energy, right? It's like having a coin flip, and the coin flip is thrown from the top of the Empire State Building. And you're like, oh gee, it just got thrown. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get heads or tails. And it's gonna really land with a bang. I'm just not sure which one it's going to do, right? Because we have the conditions. We're at the top of the Empire State Building. We know the coin's about to be thrown. We just don't know if it's gonna be heads or tails. This is not really a good analogy because what we can look at is that when the coin starts following, either up or down, we can reliably predict that it should briefly run in that direction. So you can do this by setting up alerts at 10,500 and 1,046. All right, those two values are going to be your best bets for defining trend pivots, right? Because all we're looking at is the 3.2 standard deviation of the compression range. And yes, that does tend to broaden over time, but at least for the current values here on the 1 hour chart, if we break above 10,500, we should get a significant volatility pop to the upside. Whereas if we break below this value, we should get a significant volatility pop to the downside. And yes, these are looking to only be 4 or 5%, but those are profitable margins, right? If you have high profit ratios, because typically when entering on this kind of coin, you need to directly enter as soon as the alarm triggers, just because of how explosive Bitcoin's price action can be directly outside of a compressing range. With this in mind, you need to be incredibly careful using risk management on this front because backtesting wicks are a thing, although an immediate example would be this here, where we get the significant volatility pop before immediate trend reversal. However, I don't think that would be all that common or likely, but you never know. Fake outs are a very strong possibility when trying to deal with Bitcoin. So do be safe, do use a stop loss, and if you are going to use a market entry order, or a stop market entry order, if you will, make sure that there is a trailing market stop directly behind that in the opposite direction, just in case things don't go as planned, right? Because if you are using high volatility to enter a trade, you need to be prepared to exit the condition of high volatility if it does not go your way. All right. With that in mind, we can take a look at the longer time frames. Ooh, it's a lot of lines. Let's get rid of some of those. Nice. So our 500 period is what we are currently using to define trend. Kind of cool how that most recent wick tested down on that same pivot for the 5th time. I wonder if it's significant. Anyway, we were using the 500 1.25 period standard deviation simply because, well, that pivot worked really well in the previous bull run. And that's good enough for me, at least at this current time, simply because it was respected around 16 times in the previous bull run, and we've already respected it 5 times just in the first leg up of what appears to be a bull run. So really, I am inclined to just accept this as it is, and I am willing to enter at 9,700. Just do be aware that if we have obvious signs at the beginning of a bull run with an obvious flag that implies trend continuation, it would not be surprising to see significant dip down in price before an immediate reversal. So Super high risk, but if we actually have a downward break, you could use an oscillator to scoop up the swing low of the broken support to gain entry into longer-term macro-level trend. So with this in mind, yes, you are introducing a lot of risk to the equation. However, the profit ratio sincerely justifies that, right? Because if you stop out here, cool, you and everybody else are going to be stopping out. That's going to cause a lot of downward price action. That's super predictable for macro level players, and they will attempt to scoop up this swing low. Of course, if we do break down here, we could just boop, crash. Cool, you'll stop out of that position when you enter here as well. And I don't really have a good support value. That's not really how you catch falling knives. Instead, you look at things like CCI and Wave PM for short-term reversals. Although pointing here isn't really a good example because this was directly on the weekly 200 moving average. So I am certainly not going to criticize that value when it's been so accurate. Difference is we don't have that same support value here below the 1.25 standard deviation of the 500 period. So I am slightly hesitant to just immediately imply that if we dip down, there's going to be a defined support for us to bounce off of. Really, what we're going to be looking for is changes in volume and pressure. Because if we have a significant downward dip here, an oscillator roll-up is probably our best bet. 200, we're not going to get significant weighting on the CCI simply because distributional width on our longer periods is just too large. So we're going to have to use a crossover technique similar to 14 and 50 periods, which can be effective for short-term trend reversals. It just can be a bit of a rare signal and does need to be adjusted to the current volatility of the chart. So when we actually see that support break, we'll know how the periods properly weight. From the looks of it, 14 and 50 should weight themselves quite decently. So fingers crossed to see how that's actually going to play out, okay? I did have some requests today. Live stream questions. Hey Shark, can you take a look at EOS on your next stream? Sure thing. Looks like it's compressing on the 1 hour for a long time now. Wow, that sounds like a lot like a chart we have just been looking at. Actually, I don't want to do that. Let's just look at one. We would like to look at EOS BTC on the 1 hour chart. Now, are you talking? This looks like a bona fide breakout of a downward trend. This looks promising. It's just there's just so much distributional width here on the 4 hour chart. You know what? Let's default this back to the 200 period so we have a proper perspective on that. Yeah, this could be a new uptrend for EOS. It's the first time we've had a bullish mean period volatility in quite some time on the 4 hour chart. This is a coin to keep an eye on. However, most immediately it reminds me of this price action here, where we have the weighting of mean period volatility, but the slope of probability volatility has not yet caught up to the direction of the trend. So I would actually prefer to see one more leg up before deciding to bet on an EOS uptrend. Right? So you can't just have positive weighting, you actually need to see a higher high from this point before I would be convinced on taking a position here. And I especially wouldn't take a position right now simply because, well, it appears to be this relative swing high on the more micro time frames, as I'm sure we're tagging the 3.2 standard deviation of something. Right? We're getting a new brief period of expansion. If you absolutely have to enter trend now, ACAT actually will do the trick with just basic mean reversion pivots. I'll show you what that looks like here as soon as ACAT properly loads. Just give it a second. I'll play a song. What's out of tune? Ooh. Definitely that string. problem stems from my guitar not being set to an F sharp intonation, which is stupid. Because who in God's name would decide to do that? There we go. Yeah, custom tunings are a bitch. Never learn how to play a guitar on a custom tuning unless you feel like constantly micromanaging tone. Or, well, tuning. Anyway. Yeah, so we're going to have to actually change ACAT settings so that mean reversion conditions reset. Ugh. There, fine. Wave PM threshold reset, that should do it. Come on. Show me what you got, my boy. Still loading. Thanks for your patience. There it is. Nice. So, well-defined compression range did hold for quite some time. We are technically not breaking through volatility overhead on the 3D wave PM. Trend is currently defined by this feathery little band here. We are looking at 3,800 as current support. However, that's going to rapidly increase to current price over the next 18 hours. So in 18 hours time, if price hasn't gone sideways, you're gonna have a really good trade where you can have a 1% stop loss, say, and then your upside is just trend continuation. So risk is there, but the profit ratio is also very good. EOS and Litecoin and XRP. I haven't done XRP in a while. Yeah, compressing market structure, risky. Trend is still down. Yeah, it should be obvious. Selling pressure is really tapering off. You know, I would like to see something like this on the wave PM because you get very predictable trend where everything compresses nice and low, and then as soon as you get any kind of expansion, you can reliably bet on direction. So, like here again, it's like where you get super nice compression, and as soon as you get direction, you get pretty reliable trend. So I just want to wait for that to happen. I think we're just going to go sideways for a while longer from the looks of it. Oops. And then, what was the other one? Litecoin. Of course, we don't need to fully compress before trend continuation, but it would be more probable. I don't know if I have anything to say about Litecoin. Downtrend? Yeah. Kind of hard to catch the reversal before it happens. Kind of just wait for the reversal and then trade the uptrend. No reason to catch a falling knife, especially when you're having this choppy of price action, because this really isn't a clean chart. I would avoid this for the time being. Alright, I should check YouTube comments. Oh, wow. Actually, a fair amount. Let's redo this. Is this the right one? It's not. I bet it's this one. Yeah. What's up, Dad? I'm really thinking we're heading up locally right now. What is telling you? Did he say use 0.7 or not? Clean your damn computer before it crashes mine. I mean, just deleted some instrument libraries, like the contact libraries, which are I guess we could get into that. Anyway, streamy folks. Trading Game, that's what it's called. I'll talk to you later. Hope this was helpful. Ciao. For you YouTube folks, I'm going to be done with TA and I'm going to show you my music setup. I can't hear anything going through this audio setup because I just have this directly routing in to... Actually, if I tried to hear this, I wouldn't have any audio going to you guys because I have my microphone running through Ableton through a saturator and a limiter to make my voice a little bit clearer. Saturation is a pretty cool effect. It really makes your voice nice and warm. Here's with and here's without. So, a pretty good choice. And then as far as guitar tone goes, this one. Yeah, I use a saturator, a limiter, multiband dynamics, which is super important for a good guitar tone because it allows you to have multiband compression, which is really nice because you can actually increase the volume of specific bands instead of just across the board. So with and without. It's really important for tone. And then there's just ping pong delay, which I choose not to use on stream because then I sound out of time simply because I can't hear the delay. So I'll play with the delay on, but I won't be able to time it correctly. It's a mess. Do I use a spectrometer? Yeah. When I'm mastering and mixing, but it's not as part of the creation process. Get a nice tone here. I don't know if the gain's too loud on that, so I'll turn it down. It's completely ambiguous. Except that implies a major one because of the dominant 7. See, there you go. I take you back. Full circle. You know you can do audio to MIDI, right? Yes, but mine's a bit touchy. It's hard to get a good plugin for audio to MIDI. Like I prefer Kontakt. This Kontakt is just gorgeous. Having a good sampler is super important. And then there's things like, I'm using my 64-bit version, so I don't have a lot of my good VSTs. I got really good at programming Massive, but I don't really use it that much anymore. Isotope Ozone is what I use for mastering. Guitar Rig, obviously, for my guitar tone. Just getting some really nice sounds out of this with a little bit of work. like Clean Cave is really nice. And then we can just crank this up all the way, and you give you like a little bit of a. Yeah, you can hear the intonation messing up that guitar tone there. The major 5 is super out of tune. It sounds okay. Ooh. I usually like to see what segments I'm missing while making this song, so the end piece will include everything. You can pull it up, take off all these effects, play the riff in your head, and then write down. It's like the perfect idea. Yeah, I just play piano though, and if I have a good chord progression, I'll just do it there. Like, kind of just do guitar because I really like the limitations, right? So, like, I tuned my guitar so that it just defaults to a D major chord when I play it, right? So when I just hit every note without my hands on it, D major, cool. However, if the top string is a D and the second top string is an A, then that means if I just do bar chords on the bottom 4 notes, I can make some really interesting chords just from the limitations of that I put on the instrument. Right? So like this, that's like a minor major chord. That's the 6th chord in D minor, but with the minor major. It works so well, and it's not something I would typically think of doing. But because I place the limitations on the instrument, and then I can do all sorts of crazy stuff by switching it to major to minor just by changing whether or not I'm applying its major or minor. So like, I need to tune my guitar again. Just bear with me. Yeah, see that? It just goes out of tune super fast. Because it's not, this note isn't supposed to be F sharp, it's supposed to be, I don't know what it's supposed to be. I think about music in numbers, not letters. It's good enough. FUSD Faro Wave PM Cross, all values below 0.7. Yeah, I'm actually still long on Ethereum. And I don't know why my TradingView ideas aren't uploading. It's a little bit of a disappointment. I'll be right back, folks. 1 second. Okay. There is my train of thought. What was I saying? Should be good. I think it was D, eh? Yeah, I would actually consider that short-term trend reversal. I'm willing to bet on that uptrend. I mean, I technically am betting on that uptrend. I've got quite the position in Ethereum. Simply because it's been stable. Yeah, I'm totally inclined just to stay along on this. Play some metal, heavy metal if you please. I now to Iron Maiden. It's really sweet. I want to learn how to play piano. You could better than anyone explain the difference between piano and guitar. Thank you for the compliment, Sean. Yeah, I actually don't even know the names of the guitar strings. It's all just music theory to me. Though I'm still getting comfortable with this twingy stuff that I came up with today. Because I can play a melody on top of really basic chords, because I can bar with the bottom half of my hand, and then play notes with the top, so I get really cool stuff like this. Oops, I'm sitting too close to my computer. So I play a left-handed guitar strung as a right-handed guitar, and I play it upside down. Well, I guess technically right side up. So I play a left-handed guitar strung upside down with the with the E string at the bottom dropped a whole note. So we can actually just look at this here. So just D, A, D, F sharp, which is goofy but makes playing full chords easier. A and then D. So you can probably try playing like this. You wanted metal? Okay. I'll give you some metal. I don't know what my pick is, so might be a bit muffled. Oh, there it is. aught on. I can play aught, just not in this tuning. Well, actually, I probably can when we think about it. So the chords are major 1. Okay, I actually have to look at the piano for this. So major 1, right? So that would be major 1, 6, major 1, 7. I don't know how to do that. Hold on. So major 1, D is the 5. So do the 7th fret as a major chord. Actually, it's the major 4. Because it's, yeah, G to C, so. Doesn't sound right. We'll just do with major chords. Oh. Hey, hey. Happy weekend. I think you're correct. I think I'm gonna go hike tomorrow morning. It's probably a good idea. I accept the challenge. I could probably just put my guitar back in tune. That'd fix a lot of problems. So then I could actually just play the chords as I know them instead of just doing the math in my head. Because before it would be 1, 2, 3. Oh god, I don't know. What amp am I using? Ooh, that probably sounds terrible. I apologize. I didn't realize I was doing that. There you go. If going long, wait for entry, 181 to 184 range, yeah, I can respect that. Is this a kindergarten class for Pro Tools? I mean, I could teach you guys a thing about it too, about Ableton. Or specifically Kontakt. Kontakt is my bread and butter, man. And I need a secondary instance of Kontakt so I can at least do the notes I'm playing. So I can have one audio output going to my speakers and one directly into OBS. Because I made an aggregate audio output, but it has like a half second of lag. And that's not really worth it. So I went to school for music production, believe it or not. And I got really good at film scores. And I still have a collection of like all of the pseudo-ancient plugins I used to use. Although 500 gigs on my computer are just entirely sample libraries. Except I'm kind of overloading things. I don't even know if you guys can hear me anymore. Okay. You can take a break, Kontakt. Yeah, I would like, actually, probably get away with Illumina. So typically with this library you need multiple different tracks, and I don't know what I'm unplugging, so just bear with me. Cool, my webcam. That should do it. And we're loading up 16 gigabytes of samples onto my RAM, so that should take some time. Might kill the video quality, who knows? Full Sail? Nah, man. Actually, I can't give out where I went to college. I don't want to get doxxed. All right, we're gonna drop this bad boy back in tune. Probably do it by ear. Yeah, because that's waiting. Good enough. Yep. Sounds good. There's no C in that chord progression. I totally thought there was a C. Huh. I love those chords. It's a really good song. Queen of All Everything by Ott. Still sound out of tune. Oh well, it's the intonation. Because whenever I play the F major chord, it just things gets wacky, man. I swear. Why do I keep doing that? Come on. There's only a C when there's chord continuation. Ah, you know how to play it. My man. Yeah. That's good. Anyway, time to introduce you to some magic. I don't have a sustain pedal, so I can't do everything I want, and I can only use my thumb in the left hand because I'm trying to maintain mod wheel as well. And I can't hear what I'm playing, so. And I don't know what octave I'm in. I think that's the most concerning part. Because I'd like to know what octave I'm in, but I can't hear it. So let me know it sounds good. Yeah? And I did it again. That's the one. I should restring my guitar. Well, I should probably get the knot replaced first and then restring it. That should fix a lot of my problems. Guess that song. I'm not gonna sing. Oh my god. I'm not gonna put that on the internet. Not without processing. There's only one song on my SoundCloud where I actually sing, and it's the industrial dance song. And that's through a vocoder. So it was more of a joke than anything. It's like, hey, what if I can make the most stereotypical industrial dance song possible? And then I did, and it sounds exactly like how you would expect it to. So, pretty proud of that. See, with my intonation, I actually want the D a little flat. Play some of my all-time faves. Yeah, I probably wouldn't get copyright striked if I played along to something. But, Herzhaus by Eisbrecher is one of my favorites. Herzhaus by Eisbrecher. Very much recommend. And then there's also, I don't remember the name of the song. Abgrund. It's a good song. You do drop C, which is an absolute mess of a key. Never recommend it. It's fun. It's impossible for me to keep it in tune. My bread and butter. I actually discovered this tuning like 3 days ago, so really happy with it though. Make it mild. Let's do it. Man, that went out of tune real fast. That's the one. Good. Going for dissonant, but I'm that dissonant. Because I can do this, but it implies the major 1 chord, which inevitably leads to. And then it's a key change, which I have no problems with. And then we can just do another key change back to the circle of 5th, 1/4 up by doing that. And then taking it back to the new major 1, which is now the minor 6 of the previous key. And we just take it all the way back around. And you can actually switch between G and D really easily. At least with this tuning, because D and A are both shared notes in the same key. So actually, if I could just figure out what other keys use D and A as the 4 and 5 notes, we could probably do A minor or E minor okay. Unless I'm already doing A minor or E minor, because I can't tell. Hold on. Good, because this is... that would be E minor. So let's see if I can actually figure out this key in E minor and this weird-ass tuning. Okay, so that's E minor. Can everybody confirm that? Is it the same as this? Is that the same? Well, that's an E minor 7, so it would be like E. Excuse the poor voicing. But I'm still hearing it as the minor 2. Okay, what do I need to do to make this work? So I just need to think about this in whole steps. Okay, because then we can just immediately skip to the major 3, so. And then it would be, because that's technically G major, which is the 4 in the D minor key, right? So that works actually. And then we can do A minor, which would be cool. Yeah, so. And then it would be B minor, which would just be a whole step up, so. Yeah, sounds good. Are there supposed to be 2 minor chords in a row? Yeah, that's fine. So, wait a minute. E minor has 2 majors. Shoot. Okay, so. Okay, but that's implied dominant because of the D on the bottom, I think, which is not what we want. So I need to change that voicing. It sounds okay so far. And then there would be like the major should be C major, which would just be, nope, that's not right. C major. So it would be a whole step below the tonic of the original key. So that's right. Cool. See, when I'm playing the major 4 in E minor, I can't play these 2 notes. I can, I guess. No, it still has the wrong implication. I don't know why. Oh well. I can figure it out later. Alright, well, that's it for tonight. I kind of got super sidetracked. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one.